Welcome to this week's matchup number 4. And previously, before the last few weeks, it was going to be my Week 5 game of the week. But because of the fall of, UM sucks, last 2 weeks, 2 losses, she drops this matchup down to number 4. Gobo slated at 130 points. We both know it's not going to be that much. Hugo, let's not fool ourselves. UM sucks slated at only 85 points, but she is yet to find a quarterback because Michael Vick is hurt, as we all know, and she doesn't have a backup. Anyhow, only one feasible quarterback out there right now. Go jump on Sean Hill as fast as you can before Hugo does, which if I was Hugo, I would, just to screw you over. I would pick up a quarterback just to screw you over, but that's not up to me. That's up to you. If you go into the matchup, you actually look at Hugo's team, Gabo's team, and it's not as strong as his 4-0 record would say. He's only got 3 top 10 fantasy people at their position. Breeze is only number 6. Chris Johnson's only at number 9, only averaging 14.5. Roddy White is only at 11.5, but he's got the number 1 fantasy tight end in Gates getting 18. I think he must be carrying the team because you really don't see where all the points are coming from Gobo. But week in and week out, he's over 100, so congrats to him at 4-0 and looks like 5-0. Both teams are not hurt by the bye week at all. In fact, UM Sucks has nobody on bye, and Gobo only has Mike Wallace on bye, so not a big deal. If you look at Gabo's quarterback, Drew Brees, against an Arizona defense, what does that say? Points! ESPN saying 21. Actually, you know what the thing is? I'm only leaning to about 21 as well, 20-21, mainly because I think New Orleans is going to be running away with this game so much that they're going to start slowing it down. But hopefully, for fantasy's sake, Arizona can stay in the game a little bit and Drew Brees can keep throwing the ball around. Maybe some quick turnovers right away, get him down by 14 so he has to lead a comeback of all passes and get 5 touchdown passes. That would be great, but it's not going to happen. Looks at the running backs, Ryan Matthews for UM Sucks, Tim Hightower, and she puts Percy Harvin in the slot instead of Ray Rice against Denver. I know that UM Sucks has been offered trade to Ray Rice all over the place. It hasn't taken him. Is that hurting her team? I don't know. But definitely having a top running back like that, not putting up the points, is definitely hurting her. She's got him sitting on the bench right now. So why have Ray Rice if he's going to sit on the bench? Just my opinion. Like I said, Ryan Matthews, Tim Hightower, Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin, you're going to start against the Jets. He's not a giant fantasy option as it is, and against the Jets defense is definitely a bummer. I would be dumping Percy for this week. Tim Hightower against New Orleans. Good amount of points, I think, for Hightower this week. I'm saying about 14. Ryan Matthews against Oakland. I'm going to say about 14 points as well for him against a slightly weak Oakland team. Gobo, Chris Johnson, Maurice Jones-Drew, and in his slot, he's having Hushmanzada this week because Clint Portis is out and McCoy is questionable. We'll see how that works. Hushmanzada has not really been doing that much for Baltimore. He's been averaging 3 points a game. And against a good defense or a good secondary at least for Denver, I don't see him anywhere over 5 points. So I'm saying he's going to stay around his average. Maurice Jones-Drew, we'll see if Maurice Jones-Drew can do anything. He's slated for 26. If he doesn't get 26 against a Buffalo team, it's very, very disappointing. Unfortunately, his 1 touchdown last week wasn't even like spectacular. It was mundane. It was not Maurice Jones-Drew, and I'm still way down on Maurice Jones-Drew. even with that, I still think he's going to get 15 points against Buffalo because it's Buffalo. But if I was Gobo, I might be wanting to shop him and try to get some kind of high value maybe after the Buffalo game. Because he's definitely not living up to expectations at the moment. Chris Johnson against Dallas. Dallas is a good defense and a good run defense. Chris Johnson, he's not. I told you guys before this year. I mean, like there's always a hot pick to pick a running back over Adrian Peterson in a year. There always is, and Chris Johnson because of his 2,000 yards last year. But he was on a team that was 0-6 to start the season, had no view of the playoffs. They ran the ball like crazy and made sure to get him this stuff. This year they're competitive, and Dallas is going to put up points. They're going to have to pass the ball. The one positive is that he is a threat out of the backfield, but he's not surprising anybody anymore. And Tennessee's offense isn't what you would call spectacular or full of threats. So, I mean, it's going to be all Chris Johnson, but I don't think he's going to put up a lot of points. I'm actually going to say only 10 points for Chris Johnson this week. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think he's going to find the end zone against Dallas. Receivers for Gobo, Roddy White against Cleveland should be good points. I'm going to say 12. Kevin Walter against the Giants. Kevin Walter has been up and down, having good weeks and then a bad week. I'm going to say he's going to stick right around his average, but I think a little bit below that 8 points this week. On Suck's side, Miles Austin for Dallas against the Tennessee defense. Pretty good secondary in Tennessee. I don't see Austin getting too many points there. I'm going to say 7. Brandon Lloyd for Denver against the Baltimore defense. Bench him. Robert Meacham, maybe against Arizona, because Arizona's so weak, you might get some points out of him. Maybe, you know what? I know you don't have that many options right now, but Brandon Lloyd against Baltimore I don't think is your best option. Tight end, Dallas Clark, Antonio Gates, 2 of the best. Rated number 1 and number 3. Antonio Gates still is the only option in San Diego, so look for him to get about 14 points this week. Dallas Clark against KC. KC's a lot better than they were. I'm going to say only 10 points for Dallas Clark. Fantasy dud. I'm going to actually give it to Chris Johnson. He's Chris Johnson, and getting only 10 points is a dud. Fantasy stud for this is actually going to be Ryan Matthews. It's going to be. I know I'm not very high on Ryan Matthews, but this week I am. Ryan Matthews against Oakland. There you have it. Prediction: a lot closer than what ESPN says. Not as high scoring on Gobo's end would be the main reason. I do think Gobo is going to come out 5-0, and Paula, Sucks, is going to have a disappointing 2-3 record to be staring at after week 5, and kind of be lost and maybe in a little bit of a panic mode. I say about like 80 points for her, about 95 for Gobo. I know he's dropping under 100 for the first time. I'm calling it 95 to 80. That's a 15-point difference. Gobo still goes to 5-0. Toast.